Time is running out. It's code red. The evidence is so clear that if we don't act now, we will actually jeopardize the future of the planet. That I really want us to see a massive commitment by the private sector to get to net zero, and have every CEO, every leadership team raise their aspiration to do that.
I think businesses have stepped forward coming out of COP26 in a way that we haven't seen before. It's less about negotiations and bilateral agreements and more about deals that are being done with the private sector. It's more of a trade fair where private sector comes to do business.
Well, we saw at COP 130 trillion of financial assets committed to net zero. And that was a really significant milestone because it has 40% of the world's financial assets now publicly on the hook, committing to undertake this path. And that commitment amongst the financial community is actually in many cases more ambitious than the commitments that most countries have made towards net zero. We believe most of these institutions have now really gotten serious about measuring emissions in their portfolios, and they're on their way to starting to think about what that means for capital reallocation and capital decisions in the years ahead. The financial community, they're going to be investing in those emissions-intensive companies that have a clear documented path to transition to net zero.
Ultimately, for this transition to happen at the speed, scope, and scale, it has to be a just transition. As Frans Timmermans said from the European Commission, if there is no just transition, there just won't be a transition. Hundreds of millions of jobs will be both created and displaced. The good news is we know that with some confidence about where and when that will happen, so we can plan for it. Net zero is becoming the organizing principle for business. It is going to trigger the largest reallocation of capital in history.